now gone. It was mentioned on the desk, but like the Rumble and the Yone, I think for me really stand out as like major ones that are a hit for Nongshim to lose. I expect the bans to be somewhat similar. Maybe a little bit different from Nongshim if you want a different priority in what you first pick. They could first pick the Poppy, for example. Also, they banned the Xayah. Actually, that's something I think would change. They banned the Xayah kind of because they wanted the Vi first pick. Don't really need to do that anymore, but they actually go for it again. So, hammering away at Ruler's champion pool. I think the important thing with the Varus is that he can kind of do similar things to what Ezreal did to Jiwoo last game, which is poke him from a mile away and make him not have fun.
Question here, what is this last ban? Will it be the Jace again, or are they going to look at that Poppy and say, okay, that's higher priority? No, they just take the Jace down. Poppy has been quite popular and has been rising in win rates up towards 70%, but with Ambessa available, Kingen thinking about it.
This is a difficulty because you really want that top pick for Kingen, especially with the K'Sante and the Jace gone, and the Rumble gone. Ambessa really standing out as a big pick for Kingen, but you're giving up the Poppy. And you know what Ambessa likes to do? Dash a lot.
Yeah.
And a Poppy is very good at shutting that down. I think GENG, just take the Poppy. You don't even need to figure out where it's going to go yet. You can put it support as being where we've seen it more, but you can also go jungle. You can even put it top if you wanted.
Yeah.
That's how much flexibility it has. Heck, I think Chovy could probably play it too.
That's why I thought it would be a great B1 pick, right?
Yeah. Kai'Sa Poppy is a duo we've seen have a lot of popularity, so they're really happy to immediately lock that in for the side of GENG.
This raises questions for me about Kingen's champion pool. You know, if they feel that weight to go and say, okay, we need Ambessa here. He's played other stuff. Like, I don't really totally understand that. I think the Poppy and the fact that they banned the Varus with Kai'Sa available.
Take MF.
MF here is also not very inspiring.
No, we have not been fans of the MF.
So you went for these two 80 carry bans that Kalista was always going to be banned. And you gave over Kai'Sa, and now you take MF.
I guess the thought process of the MF is that Poppy isn't a great champion at interrupting a role, right?
They also took
like Leona.
Nautilus in a Poppy support?
Yeah.
What's going on here, Ox?
It's a bit of a struggle.
Take it away, please.
It's a bit of a struggle. And now you have Xin Zhao, who essentially can just ignore the MF ult.
Our space is going to have a field day with this one.
Yeah, not a great start. And I understand the priority on getting Kingen like a tier 1 pick, but everything that came after and as a result of that feels rough. You know, there's been a lot of talk about blue side versus red side. Blue side heavily prioritizing the LCK with a higher win rate. But in like the LPL, red side is a prioritized side with the higher win rate.
Karma?
And there's a lot of budget for picking up the likes of this Ambessa and how much you give to the other team from their next 2 picks. The Karma, I don't know. I'm going to be honest.
Has Chovy been spamming this in solo queue or something?
I mean, this something, I think...
maybe like a top Karma counter for Ambessa?
Doinby played it briefly. I think one of the thought processes is that Karma combined with Xin Zhao really benefits from having like an enchanter. Maybe that's the thought process. Not something that we're fully aware of.
So an Orianna ban next? Like, I don't know, this is kind of strange. Silas gonna be taken down. And I mean, Chovy is quite good at Silas, but Aurora available, so he's just gonna slam that one down.
Is pretty good.
And King can play that as well, so that's a flex.
Yeah. I'm feeling rough.
This draft is making me feel things.
Why not lock in the Rengar, right? Why not at this point? Into Poppy as well.
Yeah. Well, Mel, certainly a better choice than Rengar.
Yep.
Will be locked in.
Yep. Mother and daughter combo.
Hey, there you go. We got some synergy. We finally found one.
We got a Bilgewater duo. We have the mother and daughter, Mel and Ambessa duo. Freljord, I guess maybe if this was TNT, you'd have like the Bruiser synergy with the Nautilus. It's looking like an okay early TFT comp. Camille left open. Something we've seen picked a lot into the Ambessa. I will say Ambessa Sejuani, pretty painful combo, but I feel like, look, the Mel and the Sejuani is fine, but I think GENG got what they wanted in entirety, and Nongshim have to deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's rare to find a game that's completely over in draft. I don't think this game is that. I think it's rare to say the game is like 0% chance from draft.
Yeah, it never is.
But it's definitely favored towards GENG, I would say. I think they've been given some great dive tools here. It's going to be very hard for Jiwoo to ult. I also think the thing with Mel is she's really good at like blocking like limited engage. But like if you're being dived on by like 3 different champions, like you don't have a dash, you don't have an escape. Or like you press W, you block one.
It's like playing Xerath
projectile
into this, you know?
If you gave Xerath Mel W, he'd still be Xerath.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I think that's part of the issue, is it's a bit of a struggle. So we'll see. Again, I don't think it's completely doomed. I think one thing to mention is that Mel's laning is really strong. We also have the MF, who has a strong lane as well. So I think looking to leverage on the back of their laning strength. But yeah, not the hottest start, and we are not fans of MF, we have said very clearly.
She had a GENG shirt under the Nongshim jacket.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
That's being prepared. Playing
both sides. You never know. You can always take off the jacket. Might have to here in this one as we are getting ready for game number 2. Game number 2 begins. We had a couple of bans towards Chovy, and instead he just said, you know what, I'll just play Aurora.
I feel like it's always one of those weird situations where like you get late in the draft and it's like, oh, we can play Aurora still? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's just a lot of strong picks have been added to the game out of the recent picks, right? Ambessa, Aurora.
I feel like we need a new system where, like, I don't know, maybe you can't play the picks from the previous game. Like maybe it's like a like there's less fear of like you know playing new picks. We imagine you know what I mean? Like imagine in this game if like the next game in the series you couldn't play like Ambessa and Mel. And someone should think of that.
It's very clever.
Yeah, very insightful.
I think someone should. Yeah, put that into the system. Yeah, I like that idea, for sure.
It's a good pitch. We come up with good ideas on the LCK.
Generally do.
Yeah.
You know, we said that this draft as well. I think we've got a good idea that GENG's one is better overall. There's a lot of picks here that we on the LCK desk have not really enjoyed, especially the MF, I think is the most obvious one. Especially with just the way the draft went and the bans and stuff. But no, we could still win this game. You know, anything is possible. I say that and... Well,
oh my god.
Take it away, Ox.
I just can't.
I was trying to have a positive outlook for game 2.
I'm going to explain what exactly went down there. Lahen's queued and missed, and then when he got it, he was against the wall, and he was like, oh god, Poppy is going to stun me in the wall, and I will lose the game right now. And so he flashed, and Duro didn't even have wall slam. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I guess he didn't have wall slam because he wanted the W to block the Q from the head, but it's just like unbelievable.
It's almost like he skilled up his W late, steadfast presence from the Poppy, and then he used it after the hook already landed.
Yeah, I think Lahen's is worse because he burned flash, but I think both supports kind of flubbed there. But Lahen's flub was definitely worse. But
yeah.
You're not allowed to set up any hopes anymore, Brendan. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, I can't believe I, for just a moment, had a positive outlook here for game 2.
Yep.
I was talking too much to Chronicler before this series. Too much positivity in me at the moment.
Hey, well, at least Lahen's unlocked Hex Flash, right? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Why does he not have...
Wait.
Well...
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if we're judging players by flashes per minute, he's winning so far.
He is, yes, unfortunately. And now, just going to engage here on a Duro. Still gets hooked, and Duro, last second, is going to flash, but that leaves him open for a first blood given over to Jiwoo. And our woes in the top lane continue, Ox.
Just do that. Apparently, Lahen's playing it really correctly. You walk up, you get the auto and maximizing the damage like the W auto reset. And basically, Duro could only steadfast presence too late, and now, they're looking for a dive, but Canyon is here. This is risky. I think you just back away.
Yeah. Second Canyon shows up. Gideon's like, nope, 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 nope. No, 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 no. No. And then Duro also comes in a little bit later.
Yeah.
So that would have been a disaster of a dive if they actually went for it. So Gideon spends a lot of time just going up to the top lane and then running all the way back down to his Raptors.
Yeah, so the big thing with the Poppy Nautilus matchup is that your W, so Nautilus will typically, when you're engaging from range, Q, and then you go for the root afterwards, you do your full combo. But the Steadfast Presence can keep some distance between you, right? And that will stop Nautilus and be able to follow up with the extra CC. But what we see here is that Lehens does the complete opposite. They hit level 3, he walks up, gets the Auto Enduro as the shield fails, and then the Q comes in, but doesn't end up really achieving anything, the Steadfast Presence. Because Lehens was already on top of him, the dash wasn't really needed, wasn't necessary, and G was just there doing the damage. So good play coming out from the side of Nongshim. We'd say, this bot lane does have pressure in the 2v2, and ultimately, GENG didn't manage to find the swap, you know? They ended up with the standard lane assignments, matched lane assignments rather, which is not really what you want when you have this matchup.
Yeah. And Duro, he has unlocked his X-Flash with his unfortunate flash. Maybe they can try to get some kind of a return kill onto Jiwoo. We talked a lot about his flash in game 1. This is another game where he should be under a lot of threat, especially against the Camille, and another AD carry that doesn't have a lot of escapability.
Thing is, you know, in total for how the plays panned out, GENG swapped their bot lane bot. They then get priority on this dragon and are able to pick it up. I assume Gideon's going to head straight to the grubs afterwards. And presumably there's not going to be enough time for GENG to swap back and contest the grubs. But I think GENG are pretty fine with how things have panned out. You know, they get some farm for Ruler uncontested. And actually, I don't think they can go for this dive in level 5 Kingen. He's very leveled up.
Well, Duro has other ideas. Not going to stun Kingen, who hits level 6 immediately after.
Yeah, very glad for Duro's sake that he hit level 6 shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
Instead of while you were under tower.
You're getting ganked.
Oh, no.
You're getting ganked, but the ult will miss.
Yeah.
Lehens says, I still wanted to go on that.
Should have just waited for Lehens to get in. And then Lehens CCs them, you get the guaranteed ult. You know Duro has no flash. I think that was just 100% a kill if he just waited, so rare misplay from Kingen, who has been pretty solid for Nongshim so far in the LCK Cup.
Yeah. I mean, if he hit it, though, we would have been like, oh, sick play. Unfortunately,
just hit.
In hindsight, not feeling too good about that one. Level 6 is Keen, and Gio's a level 5 MF with no flash, no mana, and he does have a barrier.
Why?
He uses it and then dies anyway.
Yeah, I had no idea why you would barrier in that situation where I think every single person who was watching could see he was very dead, no matter what.
Why was he that far up in the lane against a level 6 Camille as well?
I don't have the answers to every question, Brendan.
I mean, you have a lot of answers to most of the questions, so I get spoiled, you know?
Yeah.
I just, my expectations are raised so high.
Yeah, well, I think ultimately, if we look at the passage of play from GENG swapping their bot lane bot, getting the dragon, trading those neutral objectives, then that kill setup because Keen's laning against an MF, you know, considering the misplay Duro made, things are pretty good for GENG in the aftermath.
Yeah, I wonder if, even if Jiwoo had his flash, does he live then? Maybe? Because, you know, then Canyon's not really able to close the gap, but then maybe just Canyon flashes.
The thing is,
follows.
When Keen goes for like the flash R, like you're kind of locked in regardless.
Yeah.
And then Canyon also had flash as well.
Yeah.
Maybe he lives, maybe, but even then I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Should he utilize the walk back farther in the lane earlier?
I think if he plays it perfectly and he waits for the hookshot to come out and then flashes it, potentially. I think potentially. But also, I think that play, they're less likely to go for if he has flash. Because Keen kind of just walked up and went, I will flash. Oh,
yeah, and Ju very quickly accepted his fate.
Did he? Did he? Because he pressed barrier, so I'm not sure how much he accepted his fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Perhaps not.
You saw they were trying to hold the wave down there on the bottom side, Ruler and Duro. Trying to keep it close to the turret. Trying to not overextend. Maybe give an angle to Canyon. But
I love when we just get two like really new champions going head to head. It's like, who's more broken?
Yeah, but they're both just kind of, okay, Ruler going to be slowed down here. Just tries to walk out of it. a nice utilization of the walk strategy. Doesn't have to flash.
Yep. Holds to some, which is pretty big. You know, I remember when like players would like start taking like cleanse, because you know there was once upon a time where it was basically like you just wouldn't take cleanse as an AD carry.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, summoners were like fixed and people didn't really do outside the norm. But like you'd see people not remembering they have cleanse and they'd cleanse in a situation like that. Oh,
Little Root comes in here. Chovy. Just
probably
a little
close.
bit off. Yeah.
Probably very close to kill threshold.
Yeah.
For those not familiar with Mel, her ult can kind of detonate anyone who has a stacks on her.
Yeah.
And then if they get under execute threshold, they're just dead. So honestly, good flash from Chovy to get out of that one. But Fisher holding his own so far in this mid matchup. And in the battle of who is the most broken new mid laner, Mel has the edge for now.
Mel is in the lead.
She is a newer champion. I think that's...
That's true, yeah.
In a battle of release dates, she wins.
She does. If you are a newer champion in general, you are stronger. That's just one of the rules. That's one of the laws of League of Legends.
There's some laws, you know. There's some rules you'll learn.
Yeah.
Like when you start playing, like don't chase singed, you know, the basics.
Yeah.
There's always a Garen in every brush.
Play new champions because they're OP.
Yeah. Invisible Teemos, something about them.
Well, we're trying to engage on the Xin Zhao here. Instead, Canyon says, "Come at me, bro,"
Yeah, like
and then realize it's Nongshim instead.
A little bit off with some of these dredge lines. You know, not being as sharp as we've sometimes seen him. Yeah. I liked it when he walked up to Juro and just autoed him, so maybe he should have done that to Canyon. No chance to miss then. But
Canyon was just running into the pit, so
yeah.
He could have just
maybe it's
waited.
One of those moments where like you throw it and you're like, oh, what if he sidesteps, or like maybe he has vision of us, or like he spotted us walking this brush and he's expecting it, and then Canyon's just walking a straight line. Like, I want to kill grubs.
Now, GENG are down almost 2,000 gold here, but they're still going to fight big time over these grubs. And they get the first one. They don't want to give a second one over to Gideon, but now an angle here as they go to that back line. They engage onto Fisher there, but they do just flash away as the bullet time is decent, but not enough damage to take out Keen just yet. They finally take him down, and down will go the Sejuani as well, but Fisher full health, Ju full health, and they're on the chase now. The Q gonna bounce as well, and finally a hook will land here from Lehens. A couple of kills lined up from the side of Nongshim, and Ruler just gonna run away injured.
And I think, honestly, GENG just kind of, you know, opted into this fight thinking we can handle them, we can deal with them. And I think got a good initial engage, but just didn't have the follow-up at the back end of the fight. This Mel's so strong. The extra plates have been picked up by mid and AD carry on the side of Nongshim, give them some extra power here. And Kingen...
Ruler.
He could get Ruler's flash if he steps up.
This is not the Ruler spot.
He does have ult, though, Ruler, so I think it might be a bit tricky. But yeah, so we see the replay of this fight. And it's a decent engage from Canyon and Chovy, because they get the backline forced away, and this ult from Ju does nothing, because you're hitting it into Keen, who's quite tanky, he doesn't eat that much, and the ult from the Xin Zhao. But they just don't have any follow-up in the fight, and even though they managed to force Fisher and Ju away, they just come back in at full HP and just start popping all the cooldowns. I think maybe a different scenario where, like, when you force them back, you had like a flank angle could have been better. But I think just like, you know, you got the flashes, you couldn't disengage from the fight. It didn't end up panning out to being anything more. And even though G didn't get value with his ultimate, it just didn't really matter. Kingen was like in the mixer. And we're kind of seeing that value of the Ambessa first pick.
Yeah. They did not disallow the Ambessa to get in. The Poppy ult, if there was one, I didn't see where it landed. Maybe just a knock-up or something. And you got flashes, but you didn't get any kills, and you threw all of your damage into Sejuani. So, and you're down gold. So that's just not a recipe for success for GENG in that fight. So now Nongshim, they're going to take the second dragon. They have 4 grubs. It is a Ocean Soul.
Oh, man!
It's going to land, and it keeps him nearby for the Ambessa Ruler. It's just so dead. Doesn't even bother to use his flash.
I take back everything I said. Everything I said about Lehen's dredge lines, that one was sick. He's redeemed himself. Now Keen's in trouble.
Yeah, he has to flash. And now we got a fight in the top lane as well. Duro just forced to ult Kingen away.
Okay.
And this is why there weren't that many 3-0s for GENG over Nongshim. even though name value, you know, as Gideon's going to get away. Fisher looking for the kill here, looking for that R button. There it is, but not quite enough.
So close. Okay, I think the main takeaway, Brendan, is we were wrong, okay? Ambessa first pick for Kingen, justified, right? Lahen's Nautilus, clean, okay? We ignore the first couple of dredge lines. He was calibrating, right? It happens. You get into a game, you're like, I thought they would dodge left, they dodged right. So they would dodge up, they dodge down. Now he has downloaded them. He understands now.
Yeah. There could be some of that to be said. I think that Lahen's, you know, he does hit a couple of good hooks. Sometimes you're playing a hook champion, as you mentioned, everything goes wide, and then sometimes you're just locked in. You know, maybe the next 5 hooks go wide, but then he hits a couple of important ones in the late game, and then we'll all just forget about it. This is max range on the angle. Yeah.
Hits the hitbox around the wall, and King gets a follow-up. This is kind of what I was talking about in that bot lane play, where I'm like, if you let Lahen's land the CC first.
Why did they? It is level 10!
Thank you for ending the replay.
Yeah, we didn't need to see that.
We didn't need to see that at all. I have no idea.
That's like a tilt engage. There's just no reason to do that at all.
Yeah.
In that 2v2, you're never, ever winning.
Ambessa no ult. Okay, I don't think that matters.
Yeah, so definitely a bit questionable. I mean, Canyon is 2-0 and probably had the Sundered Sky, right? So he's like, oh, maybe I'm strong. But the level gap was really the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, Chovy's recalling now and should have the Ludens. Yeah, but I was noticing that like there's a big item advantage for Fisher, who's on the map, has Ludens and a Hextech Revolver, so a lot of burst. And look at the damage dealt. You know, we criticize the MF. Rare MF doing what she should do performance. I really hope it keeps it up. And
I mean, again, it's just a lot of the fights have been Jiu having space.
Yeah, but
from ahead, she should.
I also think the lane pressure. I think a big thing is we've often seen swaps come in and the MF can't really get that pressure that is kind of needed to make the pick work, but we actually saw them have a straight up bot lane versus bot lane, top lane versus top lane, and it's really panned out, so it's good to see. And now Nongshim, you know, they have the feats of strength, they're about to pick up Herald, the 3,000 gold ahead. They have a sizable lead in this game. It's really significant. Like, you think how back and forth game 1 was. Nongshim are in a very comfortable spot right now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they should be very happy. I think the one thing they might not be too happy about is the Ocean Soul, but even then, you know, Ocean Soul on Sejuani, Ocean Soul on Fed Ambessa, not too bad.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a decent amount of poke, especially from the Kaisa, maybe even the Aurora, although that's more of the burst champion than anything else.
I think it's one of those things where, like,
not again, Jiu. At least he has his flash this time. Does he get away is the question, as there comes the bullet time, but it's just desperation. 5 members of GENG right next to him to punish Jiu once again.
That felt a little bit personal, I'll be honest. Not ideal for Jiu to be stepping up like that. I think this kind of needs Nongshim to set up vision in return, but also you kind of have to put a bit of the emphasis on Jiu being aware when he needs backup to step up and... Oh no, not again.
Yeah, well, this is a level 12 Ambessa trying to go 1v2. Not quite as strong this time around. Canyon, the massive dash on in, and will continue the fight. Gets the knock up. There's the Q from Kane. And that's a kill. They take down and get a big shutdown. But meanwhile, we got Nongshim with a big push in mid. They're going to take down an inner and even go for a little drive, Will Lahen.
Wait, I think he can... No.
Well, apparently not.
I think
he could have ran into the bot turret.
I think like an expert driver, you know?
Yeah.
A little bit of drifting.
I think you would have to go in front of the Wolves.
Dominic Toretto would have hit the bot lane tower. I think that's what we can safely say. I think that's the moment G would just walk up too far. And the thing is, your MF with Bloodthirster, you're like, what can Ruler do to me? Well, bring his teammates. And here, Kingen just overstepping. That ward on the Arakan, I think may have spotted where he was recalling. But just 2 back-to-back mistakes. Justice was saying nice things about Nongshim. Justice was saying, hey, they're looking great. Yeah. A couple of little flubs. They're still ahead, though. Don't get me wrong. It's just a little bit of a hit to the confidence from where they were.
Yeah. A couple of shutdowns, too. I mean, we saw the MF was almost 1,000 gold ahead of Ruler. Jiu over Ruler, but now it's only 500 gold. Also, the top lane cut down about 200 gold.
Yep.
the lead. So just little bits here and there. GENG's still a strong team. I think they've shown a lot of weakness so far in this game, and Nongshim have shown why. A lot of people are giving them credit and giving them wins in their predictions, but it's not over yet. It's really not at this point in time. I still think it's anybody's game from here. I still have my concessions about the MF.
You know, I just noticed, I just saw when they hovered over him. Lehens went W max Nautilus. So we've seen sometimes E max for the extra slow and damage. Q max is the standard.
Yeah.
But I guess the theory here is you can't Q into Poppy very frequently. And W max does make you very bulky. So, you know, Lehens is always someone who has his view on the game and he'll experiment with things.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And he went Aftershock this time as well. As now, Kingin not going to be able to get away from this one. Tries to turn it around, but I think against the two of them, you're going to struggle. He is buying a lot of time, though, as in comes the bullet time. But that is a Xin Zhao. It only hits the Xin Zhao ultimate. And now your teammates are getting baited in. Lehen's going to go down. And now a chance for GENG to just take Otacon down. 3,000 gold? Maybe not.
I will say it's a 20-minute Otacon. It's super risky, and Fisher is still there. If you take the debuff from this Otacon...
No bullet time.
Oh, I think they're looking for a TP flank angle from Keen.
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like.
Fisher, I feel.
Yeah, it's almost like a bait more than anything else. Very deep TP comes in as Canyon is just going to be popped like a balloon. Down it goes, and now the turn comes in, but maybe it's a little bit too late. The double kill from the Mel. And we see the power of the new champion, but still, it's another one that goes the way of GENG. Chovy able to pick that up and get a big shutdown himself. As here's Gideon, very tanky, and he got Smite! He has Smite, and GENG do not! And that is just a free Otacon to the side of Nongshim. You know, free 200 gold over to the GENG members, but man, he just gave a big buff over to Nongshim.
Second game in a row that he's clutched with the smites. He might be in trouble.
Yeah, you can't hook shot away from that, but you can buffer it. There's no tower here. Chovy coming on over. He says, all right, see you later, buddy. And eventually, Keen, will he go down here? Yes, he will.
Yeah, Lehens, I said he calibrated. He purposely missed that so he wouldn't steal the kill. Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Oh, Lehens.
I mean, I think they saw...
Nothing there.
Okay.
He doesn't know. Okay, well, non-stop action, it seems.
Yeah. Just going in again. I mean, Duro is a Poppy. He's going to have to flash here 100%. And at least he's got Hex Flash.
What a hectic passage of play, honestly, this game has been. These last few minutes. We're going to get replays, so I don't want to talk about everything that happened right now before the replay comes, but it's just, you know, we need a moment just to kind of...
I mean, we might have another fight before we get into replays as well.
Yeah, maybe we don't get replays. Maybe this is just raw action non-stop.
Yeah.
None of that looking backwards, only forwards. And the thing is as well, even though Jiwoo and Fisher were dead, you still get the Voracious Otacon buff.
Yeah.
So, still have that available. Keen is on the flank, so they need to really be careful.
And there's only 4 here. Kingin does get his TP back, and GENG will just respect it.
Oh, the rebound on the Void Seeker?
Yeah, the rebuttal.
But it did miss.
Yeah. It is also just dodgeable, so you don't need rebuttal to avoid that one.
Yeah.
But sometimes
I feel like you sometimes see the Mel's where like the skill shots come in and they walk forwards like, I will take this, and like it was not going to hit anyone.
Well, if you hit someone, could have been nice, but, you know, that's Gideon. He's down, and now you got a 5v4, and Kingin is late to the party. Jiwoo going to go pretty low, finally taken down, and that is a bunch of extra gold just given over to the side of GENG. And yes, it's just withdrawals, but GENG at least able to capitalize here towards the end of the push.
Yeah, they get a ton of gold, and this Otacon buff ends up not panning out too much for here. So the thing is, the Otacon puts a massive debuff on everyone who's in close range. The ult snipe on a Canyon into the burst, and then here, the damage that comes out from Fisher just explodes them. Keen does a good job of diving in, but then Fisher also nearly kills Chovy there.
Same, you know, go for Xin Zhao. Play, you know, fight as you back away. I'm gonna leave.
And he's like, wait a minute.
Saying we have vision. I'm gonna go for it. Got it. Nice. I'm going to try to get out, but yeah. And we got more fighting. Duro's dead. Keen, hook shot down. No flash. He's dead.
Man.
That is a very nice hook. Okay.
I told you he was locked in. He was calibrated.
Recalibrated, okay.
He's just...
2 free kills.
He's downloaded Keen. You know, the last person he missed on was Keen.
Yeah.
He's downloaded him. And now Dragon is up, would be the third, so not hugely significant. But Nongshim, they're still 5,000 gold up. It's been a hectic game, a lot of back and forth. It's 11 kills to 8, but they are massively ahead. And you look where the gold is. We have this Giga-fed Mel and Ambessa. Let's see how this happened. He didn't even W, so not ideal.
What were they even doing there?
Yeah. Guys, Atakan doesn't respawn. I just want to make it clear.
Yeah.
You can only kill it once.
But this is why, like, GENG, they're just, on paper, they should be such a strong team, but then this just happens over and over, and you're like, what is going on? And I think we, as a unit of talent, we've seen it happen so many times this LCK Cup that we're just, like, left scratching our head.
I think it's one of those things where, like, a lot of people look at the roster that GENG's had, like, in recent years and be like, damn, it's like a crazy super team or whatever. But I think sometimes when super teams don't work, it's because, like, there are functional roles you need in a team, and it's about having that mesh where you meet all those roles, not just having superstars, right?
Yeah.
And I think GENG at the moment still trying to mesh together and make this team work, even though the raw talent is definitely there for this team.
Yeah.
There is still work to be done for the coordination to come through.
You said it earlier, it's still very early in the year, so they have a lot of time for that development, but for the LCK Cup, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
Not so sure just yet, Ox.
Yeah. Still looking good in this series as a whole with that 1-0 lead. And the fact that obviously they beat Nongshim when they had sides like game 1. But this game is looking like a bit of a tougher cookie to crack. Right now, Nongshim trying to get vision around that Baron area. There's a lot of vision behind them though, so I don't think GENG are too scared. You can see a bunch of wards near the Baron pit. Yeah. I guess that's what they were doing when they died randomly earlier.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but obviously you want to try to not die while you're doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know from watching my gameplay, it might not be apparent that I know that, but that's
well, I think,
generally what you want to do.
I think the thing is, it's not even your gameplay. It's the fact that Beryl is performing so well, despite some of his decisions and his lack of regard for his own existence, it feels like, in his game. If Drew is trying to impersonate Beryl, you know, that last death was doing a great job.
Something's happening to our supports here in the LCK. It's spreading for some reason. We got a deep TP coming in here right now from Keen. That's the ult drop. They want to try to get Fisher. There's the flash.
Oh, man.
And the knock out of the wall. Fisher, he's just a fish out of water. Down he goes, and now Keen in the back line. He's alone. He's trying to delay for the rest of the team to come over, but Kenning's like, no, I'm not going in there. They don't have Ruler. As when will he pull the trigger? There he goes. They find the backline. They find Jiwoo. And GENG turn the fight around. As King and Gideon, yes, they're strong, but maybe not good enough to go up against 4 members of GENG. Is now King and gonna get hook shot. There's the stun with the steadfast presence. Duro, he was also calibrating, just waiting for his moment. And Nongshim this time, they're the ones caught out big time.
It's like a blood tax. Like, you have to die randomly like Beryl, and then you'll just do that in a team fight. Duro just dominates. He gets all the knocks into the wall, and now GENG going to turn on a Baron. Gideon has Smite, but against 4? I don't think he's there in time.
No. Okay, they're even going to, they're going to play it even safer. Just,
TP's coming in. Fisher actually has ult as well.
Recall, you got to get out of there. Fisher might be able to take down Chovy and Keen here. Keen is dead.
He's
for
already
sure.
gone.
But Chovy is on vision. He's even going to flash here.
The rebound.
Oh, the rebounds. Get rebutted. And down he goes.
Well, some good pickups on the back end of that fight from Nongshim, but ultimately, this one, Fisher's quite overextended, and this TP angle, remember those deep wards that GENG had that weren't removed? Fisher flashes away from the TP, but he ends up against a wall, devastating, and then Jiwoo kind of lost in this fight. If you track his positioning here, he's like, oh, I want to kill Keen. He should have walked around behind this terrain to safety. Instead, he walks in front, has to flash, and then still gets hit into the wall by Duro. I think if he takes the safer path, he's in prime position to ult over the wall. Yeah. So I think really Jiwoo made, like, Fisher was already out of position when the fight started. It was a good TP, but I think Jiwoo really kind of flubbed there, and it would have been a lot more fightable if he just made that decision to walk around the backside.
Yeah. Got to get better at the walk strategy. He did not walk the right direction. Walking within melee range of a Xin Zhao is not... That's not one of the things you do as an AD carry. Or as
some great...
any champion.
Some great knowledge bombs today, Brendan.
Yeah.
You just drop in the truth.
I've been practicing.
Yeah.
You know?
These are, you know,
put in a lot of time.
years of casting the LCK, and this is what you've done.
Yeah. Kind of hard to lock down the Aurora.
Yeah.
I don't mind going for this when there's not really a... Well, I say that there is Ocean Drake in 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's not that long of a cooldown, though.
This time, Duro soaking up a lot of pressure, but might be soaking up a death as well. That should be Ocean Soul over to Nongshem unless GENG have an angle. Keen, level 16, they spot him, though.
Yeah, so they banned the Sejuani ult, they banned the Ambassador ult. Those are pretty big cooldowns, but they have time. Oh, now Keen's...
All right. I mean, they saw him in mid. He had no idea that he was spotted on this big flank that he was going for, but that should just be a death on the Camille as well, as this is one of the messier games we've had.
I think just go for the Dragon.
Instead, opening up an angle here for Ruler to try to go 1v5. I don't think it's going to happen, though, not with Kenyan in his face, but he's being kited out. That gigantic W just going to one-shot him, but there's the hook coming in. But it's just the front line for Ruler, but it's just not enough of a front line. Maybe another W going to land here on a Jiwoo, but the Ruler magic will be extinguished. And now Nongshem get Ocean Soul.
Playing a dangerous game there. I won't lie, I held my breath through that entire passage of play. It did work out, but not the most measured engage I've seen. Measured fight. I think Nongshem get the soul. They definitely had the soul. They definitely had it after this Keen pick. This was all good. This was already good, getting the Keen pick here. And obviously, like, taking a 5v3 in theory is very favorable. But it's like there's such a divide here. Like Gideon's like, okay, I'll do Dragon. Jiwoo's like, I'll do Dragon. And then these two are like, let's take a 3v3. Okay. And then they lose Fisher. And then it gets a little bit scrappy. And now it's like a 2v3. Okay, now it's a 2v2. Okay, let's wait for Gideon. And then in the end, it's a good hook from the Hens. They are able to just about close it out. But it's messy, okay, if we're being honest. I think the picks they got before that were very clean, were perfectly played. They got the soul. That whole passage of play was a little bit scrappy, but, you know, I think you get what you get with Nongshem. You know, they are the spicy team.
Yeah. It's been a spicy game for both teams. It hasn't been super pleasant, let's say. And I think I'm very worried about Ruler now. I think that was almost like a demonstration where Ruler's like, yeah, I'm pretty fed at this point in time. And we have Arm Guard once again for Jiwoo, this time in I'd say a better spot where he's not like really far behind and like trying desperately to use it against like Nidalee Ezreal, right?
Oh, we've seen this before.
This is a massive dive, and it's 2 teleports coming in. They spot it, though.
Fisher does have Zhonya's this time.
Yeah, Fisher's got it. Jiwoo's got it as well. Duro's just dead. And now the TP's going to come in, and GENG say, you know what? We're really comfortable with 4v5s. Ruler just going to avoid the damage. In goes Canyon and Jovian in that backline. Fisher goes down, but Canyon is traded. The AD carry battle. Ruler versus Jiwoo. He's got Keen in the front line as well, but now Ruler's isolated on the backside, and he will be taken down. And there's nowhere for Keen to go. Not with Lahans respawning and coming on over. And just, well, I say that. He is actually going to get away. So big hook shot over the wall. He gets away for now. Kingan still on the chase here. They desperately want to take him down, but it's not going to happen.
I feel like now the Ocean Soul, this team fight for Nongshem has kind of turned into, okay, Fisher, Jiwoo, do as much damage as you can until you die. You're definitely dying, though. The rest of them, though, no chance. Like, we see the slam coming from Duro to keep them in the fight, but I think it's too early. I think they were like, oh, what if they spotted the TPs, but they hadn't. Fisher does also Zhonya's a little bit early, maybe. So he's like, okay, just do as much damage as I can. I'm dead. Jiwoo bins. Oh, we don't get more.
What is happening in this game, man? He's gonna go and biz. He's going the opposite way. He lives. He flushes. He's out. And now maybe Duro and his buddy Keen here will have to pay the price. I say he's out. Bit of damage coming out from Fisher, who's trying to get away from Kenny. Kenny flashing in, looking for the kill, and down will go Keen. Canyon able to trade one back, but you'd imagine that eventually he goes down as well. As W's coming in, and he goes into his GA, and Canyon eventually dies right before the Baron spawn.
I'm going to be honest, we've seen consecutively on screen probably a good 40 seconds of Gideon and Kingan fighting. I have yet to see the health bars drop below full. They are just not, they are not taking damage at all. Lehens, his health bar goes down, it goes back up again. Gideon and Kingen are just not taking...
I mean, they don't have Smite.
No, they don't.
But what if they knocked away Gideon? Unfortunately, there's Vision, and it's not going to matter. They're not going to send it. So Baron now for Nongshim, and surely from here, they can close it out.
Yeah,
I'm a believer.
This game has just been... Well, Chovy just kind of woken up, and this is one of those moments where it's kind of like, oh, he's for sure dead. Don't commit more. He's so dead. Look, he's gonna die to Ignite. Like, the Hen's kind of flash autoed, but then he just lives. But the problem is, like, Duro and Keen got in the fight to peel, and again, Kingen's health just doesn't move. I mean, I know Keen's focused on the Hens, but with the sustain Ambessa has and the Ocean Soul, it's insane. I will say credit to Canyon. The knockaway on Kingen was quite nice here, but it just, you know, it meant nothing. He killed the Mel, and then he dies, and he loses GA. Not ideal.
And the Baron, which they took that quote-unquote fight before the Baron was about to spawn.
Yeah. I want to mention, you know, it's Spirit Visage Ambessa as well.
Yeah.
It is like, like this champion already does a lot of healing.
Do we have anti-healing for GENG?
Well, we'll see after the...
I hope so.
The graphic, Red Bull Baron Power Play graphic drops, and we have...
The answer is no.
No.
Nobody.
Nobody has anti-healing. I think the problem is it's a little awkward for Kai'Sa to pick up in her build.
Yeah.
A little bit awkward for Keen. I think Chovy should get it, especially with Leandries. Like, you ult at the start of the fight, anti-heal on everyone. Everyone has Ocean Soul. Jiwoo has a lot of sustain for Bloodthirster. Kingen has 1 billion to sustain. I think you need it. I don't think you're winning fights without it. And you just pick up the Oblivion Orb to 800 gold. You can sell that Dark Steel, Chovy. You're not making a Medjai's this game, I'm sorry.
What about the dream, though? There's still a chance.
There's still hope. There's still belief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Also, full Zhonya's for Jiwoo now. MF actually has some AP ratios.
Yeah.
Some champions don't get any benefit from building like a Zhonya's. I'm not saying like he's building it for the AP ratios, obviously not, but it's like you do get a little bit of benefit on like your ult and your E.
Yeah, I mean, he had an arm guard in the last fight, so he just elects to say, okay, we're just going to go for the full item this time. Yeah, there you go. Ambessa ult into the Nautilus, but there is a massive knockback from Duro. They're all trying to get away, and you're not getting away from Mel. Doesn't matter the distance.
Guys, I just saw Ruler Q and put 3 autos into Ambessa, and the health bar didn't move. I'm telling you, this champion is not taking damage at the moment. I mean, it is Death's Dance as well, but it is obscene right now. It was a great ult for Duro, and it just doesn't matter. Nongshim, I think it's very hard to lose the game from this point, especially the double Zhonya's combo. It's like an extra 5 seconds of time for Kingen to kill everyone. And, you know, we questioned the Ambessa first pick and the MF and those various things like, we don't feel so good about this. Kingen is just that guy, I think, is what we've clearly seen from this game.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about Lehens and the shot calling and about his play with Gideon. The two of them are really coming together, but some games are won by Nongshim, by Gideon, or rather Kingen just pressing his buttons well and getting ahead and carrying. And I think this is one of them. It's been very messy. And at the end of the day, you have your big carry on a big carry champion, and he's able to carry your team.
I also think, like, Ocean Soul, obviously not the strongest soul, but on an Ambessa, and particularly, like, he went the Spirit Visage Death Stance, which, I mean, they're not uncommon items on Ambessa, but they sync so well with it.
Yeah.
And now the Elder with Mel, super scary, if I gotta be honest.
The rebuttal. Hit on a Duro, look at his health.
That was a zoning dredge line.
Yeah.
Remember, he's calibrated.
Zoning Sejuani ult as well. And Duro zoning, trying to engage here on
Look at his health!
His health! It's falling a little bit. I saw it go down.
Okay, now it's going down.
Oh, okay. Keen with the kill. And doesn't quite matter because Duro going to get smote out of the sky by the Mel. They got to get some health here and try to go for some kind of desperate engage. They're still going up against Elder Dragon for a minute. plus as they go to the back line looking for Fisher, but he's going to live for so long. As Ruler not finding the angle just yet, as he is fighting against 2 tanks, and now, though, Canyon and Toby able to get Fisher. There's not a lot of damage left here for Nongshim. Can they end the game is the question. It's absolutely no. As Gideon, very tanky.
Have no damage.
And he doesn't do any damage. So now Nongshim, everybody dies with their Elder buff. They're not going to have Elder buff anymore. And the game is reset a little bit. You know, a couple of inhibitors are down. Nexus turrets, though, those respawn now.
Guys,
there's a chance here for GENG.
What is going on? So ultimately, GENG find a good angle here. Ult comes in, half health done to Fish immediately. Gio gets dove onto. Does end up Zon using very low, but then doesn't end up using Sums here. Doesn't barrier out the back end. Fisher does get a kill in return. And Ruler surviving is actually pretty big because these 2 tanks with Ocean Soul and Elder, if Ruler was dead, I think maybe they just go and brawl and they might actually win. But Ruler living makes Gideon realize he can't win the fight. He's just going to do some damage to the Nexus. But again, you have no AD or AP as a Sejuani. You don't do anything. And
he's got Heartsteel.
You know, I said before this game was very hard for Nongshim to win from this position.
Hard to lose, you mean?
It's hard to lose, sorry. It feels like they're giving a good old college try.
You never know. I mean, there's always a chance. I talked about it before. I'm like, there's always a chance Nongshim still win this draft. And they almost did.
There's also a chance they nearly lose with this draft. Okay, Baron is going down quickly because of Ruler. Gideon is coming, though. You need vision.
That's the Sejuani gone. Sejuani just out. And that's why the Poppy priority should be through the roof. And it was for GENG. And finally, Duro has shown up, which I'm happy about.
Do you know what's the most painful situation to be in right now? Imagine being the coach watching this game.
Oh,
imagine,
yeah. I don't even.
Imagine sitting in the booth, watching this go down.
That's a spicy coaching booth.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You can feel like the sting in your eyes, you know? It's like they're cutting onions in there. Duro, he's fine for now.
Yeah. Also, we did learn in that last fight around the Nexus that Ambessa can die if you CCF for 17 seconds and pump full Kai'Sa combo into her.
Yeah.
But the health bar did move. You were right when you called that out.
It moved, and there it is. Guess what?
Oh my God.
We're back. Holy crap.
You know, it's so rare that you see this be a thing, but I really love this change that they add the Nexus Tower respawn, because otherwise, open Nexus just feels like a death sentence.
Yeah, it's just the game is over.
And I think GENG, having won that fight, deserve another shot of the game.
Plus 3,000.
Plus 3,000.
We're back in the game.
We're back, baby. Nexus Tower's like, did you miss me?
You can't actually see them on the minimap, but trust us, they're there.
We did just show them for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Slow-mo.
They do exist, and we got Baron here that will exist until Elder spawns. And, I mean, there's absolutely a chance now for GENG to take this game as Duro, he's in a rough spot, he doesn't have flash, and they're just gonna leave him as he gets caught out yet again. And now they just don't have Poppy. So the second I sing the praises of, hey, Duro's back, he's playing well.
Okay.
He gets out of position.
Elder's in 48, Duro's up in 40. Poppy is pretty fast. But the problem is you have no wards on that side of the map in general. Like, at all. Like, there's not a single ward. And the thing is, a lot of the reason GENG came back in this game was TP flanks from Keen. You need a ward to TP to. So that's not really a
Yeah, he doesn't have flash either. Ruler.
They want something more. If they get another pick here, that's like you've got Elder. But just Duro isn't enough, but it does mean GENG have to face check. And look at Canyon. He's like skating around. Like he's going like this mile-long journey.
Here's the teleport.
But they don't know. They're unaware.
Yeah, they're sneaking through mid. There is one ward in mid, but they didn't spot the mid and jungle duo. And now, oh, just gonna miss the hook on a King.
It's too late in the game to be calibrating now ahead.
In goes Keen though. He's like, bring it, man. I want to go for the fight as the Sejuani gets knocked in the air and doesn't go anywhere. Ju lives, but Sejuani falls and Ju gets popped like a balloon. GENG, they're actually doing it. It's a free ace for them. And they look to push mid and potentially end this game.
And the game's just over like that. Nongshim trying to look for a pick. They don't set up vision. They don't defend the flanks. They get collapsed on Canyon once the Elder. I don't think you need it, buddy, but he'll take it regardless.
Well, they don't need him for the push, so you might as well.
And GENG, despite everything, managing to push this to a 2-0. Heartbreaker for Nongshim, but GENG clutch it in the end.
They made so many mistakes in this game, but you know what? They clutched it. So they made it hard for themselves. They're able to fight back, and Nongshim aren't able to shut the door in their face. GENG, that was a very difficult one to win, but somehow they found a way.
For anyone who tunes in, like in Game 3, and maybe they're busy, people have, they have lives, they weren't able to watch, they tune in like, oh, it's 2-0 GENG, of course it is. Like, no.
Nothing to see here.
This has just been an absolute roller coaster.
Man's got a tweet, hold on.
He's heartbroken.
He's got a post on it.
Talked a bit before about the coaching booth. They're in there now, and some of the looks on the faces, you can see the series isn't over, but it's got to feel so painful to lose a game like that. A game which, by all rights, Nongshim had won several times before that. It was at a point where you are safe to say they've won this game, and yet they didn't. They didn't kill the Nexus. They got the Nexus towers, but they didn't go that one step further. The Nexus was half HP at one point. And,
Oh my God, look at that gold grab.
It's
the dagger of shame there at the very end.
It's painful. It's really painful. And I think there was some clutch. I think Keen really stood out to me on GENG as someone who kept finding those flank angles, those engages, really well played. But I think multiple people on both sides have to kind of reflect on that game and go, wow, I really made some big flubs. GENG 2-0 favored, so they have a lot more safety net, but
both sides. You can see Lahen's head looking up at the sky. They are not feeling too good about this situation. But guys, we're going to take a break. You see the fans also unhappy. The space will break down that wonderful and wild game.
나 가는 중. 나 그냥 바로 직진할 거야.
야, 노티 그래 빠졌어. 야, 이거 멜 관련해. 나 멜 볼게.
오케이.
아이고.
너 혼자 가.
나
혼자다. 일단 세준 날려.
나 이거 가인 해볼게.
야, 세주.
나 가인이야.
야, 이게 오케이. 야, 나 멜 끊을게.
야, 미드 와.
야, 이게 이기네. 아, 미안해요. 아, 정말
이거
너 먹어.
나 먹게.
아, 너무 많이